8:48.
So go ahead, open up your notebook. Let's see what you got. Set a timer, 5 minutes. Go ahead and let's get started. ¿Y cuál vocabularios vamos a utilizar? Okay. ¿Cuántas oraciones tenemos que utilizar? Okay. So, completa esta oración, entonces vamos a añadir dos más. Okay. Chandra. Okay. Chandra is preparing for her best friend's birthday party tomorrow. Go ahead, what you write down.
Okay.
I'm also still getting everything back in order.
From yesterday?
So I'm still making sure everything's in place.
Okay, thank you.
You do side-by-side coaching.
Yeah, because, I don't want to ever have anyone feel uncomfortable. And the reality is I also don't have the context of, again, what happened before, right? So I try to give that kind of grace because, again, I don't know. And just because I don't know, but I do want to make sure that it's being addressed because it's the expectation and making sure that they know that that's what's expected. So the data binder is on the desk.
Okay. It's organized, right? Okay.
Hey, you already get
Oh, so do we know who his special populations are?
Yeah, it's on the binder. I was able to see he does have students as well as a notebook with student work samples as well.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
And
And then I noticed he differentiated for his ELLs because he started speaking Spanish.
But could he have added the extension for PowerPoint where it automatically translates?
That's what I do.
To maximize instructional time? Like that would be like one of my questions. Like, would it be in students' best interest to do that? Because right now we're relying on a peer to provide translation, which we hope is accurate. And he seems like a good kid. I'm sure he
Right. But we just never know.
But it's taken away also from his learning and his ability to do work. Because
Justin,
he's
walking
having
over
to-
towards you now, alright?
Okay. Now, I do that. I put the PowerPoint on, but Ms. Martinez says that we don't want to give them 100%. So,
Exactly. You don't, but if you've already identified that there's some new vocabulary, you can add visual representations. You can use a
Okay.
cognate. You can also do like a vocabulary activity to help them understand what this means, and then of course having those dictionaries and thesaurus that would be
And so
helpful
that
too,
they
so they
have-
can reference. But we also need to remind them, reference them like they're there, not
Use
just
them.
to correct. They're not just to
Decoration.
help us say and whatnot.
so then does that mean we don't get that point?
Which one?
For the differentiates instruction.
For this one, I think there's some evidence.
We got about a minute left. Oh, just under a minute.
So there is some
Well, shout out
evidence
Juliana.
of
She has a
some
complete paragraph. Or
differentiation.
shout out Eileen. She has a complete
However, I
paragraph.
don't know if there's
Okay, Michelle, let me see your notebook.
because my question would be, like I said, there's a special education student in this class. What is being done different for him? I I don't know yet.
Right.
because I haven't-
Because you don't know which one it is because he
Right.
hasn't addressed that.
Correct.
What I like
But I
about,
also
hey
know
y'all,
that it's different.
what I like about Latrell's
Okay.
paragraph is that he opens up
Now,
the
let me
law.
ask you, so with
Make
this,
sure
this
when
needs
we
to be a
start a
majority
paragraph, like in
or a
sentence one
whole?
of bases,
Well,
make
no,
sure you
this
use
would
a
be
book or some sort of
based
topic
on
sentence
those
to get your
particular
reader's
students,
attention.
like your 504,
Good job, Latrell,
your
for
STEM,
doing that.
your EB,
I want to read the paragraph right here.
or
Okay.
even those that are
Recite.
not
What you got?
identified as special pop, but you realize, okay, they're not comprehending, so I need to adjust this. I need to do this differently.
Okay.
Finish the sentence. For the what? Little C. Good job. Good job. That's exactly what we're looking for right now. Vermont. Open that vocabulary. Okay. Exit that one. All right. Okay. Finish the sentence. Drew, y'all finish the sentence right here. And y'all approve.
Okay, so now this student walked in and
That's
sat
it.
in the right
That's
time.
exactly what we're looking
Mhm.
for. I'm ready. That's what you're looking for.
Well, and here's the thing. You know, yeah, so we gotta, let's see if he's gonna redirect, because he may
Okay,
have not
I
seen
want to
it yet.
shout out
Okay.
Amriel, because thus far, raise your hand if you use the words divergent or convergent in your paragraph. All right, let's make sure that we're using our vocabulary words.
Okay,
That's how we
back
learn
to
them, is we use them
vocabulary.
in context. That's okay, we're gonna remember. All right, so in your paragraph, you say, Shanna's preparing for her best friend's birthday party, and she is thinking
I just
about
told
what
that there
type
shouldn't be a DOL.
she
So.
to buy or choose.
Somebody else said there should not be a deal.
So
Yeah,
instead
there
of
shouldn't be a
saying
DOL.
thinking,
Okay.
say she is using divergent thinking. So I
So
want you to erase that and fix that.
There
Using
shouldn't,
divergent
right?
thinking.
There should.
okay.
We're gonna move on. So you're fixing that.
Now I
how
know
are you
for
doing this
future.
morning? Welcome to class. Go ahead and grab your notebook, and I want you to come join us by Amriel.
Perfect.
For
You
everyone
addressed
who's
it.
here and just wrote this paragraph, let's stand up and find a partner. Take your paragraphs with you.
So the
Stand up
teacher
and find a
reinforces
partner. Take
positive
your
behaviors
paragraphs
and
with you.
acceptance behavior. Get that.
Diego, Versailles, Vermont, let's all stand up and find a partner. Thank you, Alma, for standing up. Thank you, Amariel, for standing up. Show me your partners. Alright, y'all, who y'all working with? Diego, who are you working with? I know who's immediately next to you. Poseidon, Diego, partner up for now.
Yeah,
Alright,
he did it again.
Justin, Joshua, can y'all please stand up? Alright, what do you think I'm about to ask you to do? You're dead right. Go ahead and share your paragraphs with your neighbors. I want you to find if their neighbors' use of
See, when he
divergent
asked
or
that question,
convergent
it would
thinking is right or
have been
wrong.
a great opportunity for him to
I'm
say,
gonna give y'all 2 minutes.
okay, what do you think I'm
Go
gonna
ahead and
expect you
get
to do?
started.
Oral. Everybody would have said it, because they knew.
They knew it's a oral
But
form.
that way we could have done it, that could have been an
MRS, a quick
opportunity.
MRS.
And just, you know, if it would just be us here just for coaching, that's what we would be doing. We wouldn't necessarily be sitting here. We would be walking around in those opportunities. We would be telling him, like, hey, let's do this again, because that would be horrible. Like right now, he's having to collaborate with one another, but there's not a structure.
Right.
So we would
And then
want to
this
say,
says
this would be,
here, and they're not.
this would be an opportunity for him to say, okay, partner A, share with partner B, da-da-da-da, like it's structured, okay? You have 1 minute to share, da-da-da, countdown, timer. Okay, timer, okay, ended. Okay, partner B, now you share your response with partner
partner
A,
A.
timer set, blah, 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 okay, time is up. So now after that, he can say, okay, quick response, da-da-da, tell me what your partner said or what you said,
Okay.
and call it a day.
Oh, that way, not only do they read to one another, you know they understood.
Yeah, because you can validate or
With the quick
praise.
response. So then that would have also been stacking the MRS strategies, right?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
And here's the thing, we're getting towards this as well, the higher order thinking, because even if I didn't know, now because I heard something my partner said, now I can capture
Then I
something
know.
or get clarity on what I was thinking or get validation on my thinking too.
What's up?
Okay.
No, already registered.
And look at this. Like, this would be something also I would address because, like, everyone's done sharing, but yet we still got time. I stopped that timer because evidently
Adjust.
we're done. But that would be the opportunity to say, I monitored and I noticed that everyone is done. Okay, I'm going to adjust our lesson and stop the timer since we finished beforehand. Now
Say
let's
it out loud.
correct. And
So
that's
it's
new for
super
us.
obvious.
Correct. And that's new for us, right?
You got it dead right. The ending's perfect. Go return to your seat.
But that goes back to was
Raise your hand if
instruction
your neighbor
maximized,
diverted thinking
right?
correctly.
Did we maximize instruction? Because that's what we wanted to do. We want to maximize it.
All right, raise your hand if your neighbor
And also pacing, yeah.
divergent
Mhm.
thinking
It's like-
incorrectly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You raising your hand? No, only one person raised your hand. All right, let's go and move on for a second. All right, so go ahead, go to your notebooks. Let's make sure that we have this. You already have this? Yeah. All right, so real quick, we don't need to write this
There's no
down.
RS on
Let's
this
just take a moment.
And
So,
then
what
I
is
would-
deductive reasoning?
Is there any
that
students
involves
to be
applying
copying these
general
notes?
principles of reaching
Right.
Because just because we're copying
Okay,
it doesn't mean
so
we
all
actually
cars have
comprehend it.
tires,
Most
right?
importantly, can
Okay, so Camaro has
identify
what?
or understand it,
All right,
right?
Right.
going from one
So
general
what is the
principle
purpose? 'Cause I
that
see they
applies in
have
all
notes.
cases
But
to
is there
a
like a
specific
note-taking
principle.
technique that's being
Okay.
used? I don't know.
So,
But
we already
again,
have this
why
definition. Let's go ahead
isn't
and practice it
instructional time to
here.
just copy notes when they could be
So you
used
know
as
that
either
studying for a test
applying
improves
the
your chances
vocabulary
of
or maybe
doing
using
well
context.
based
Like,
on
are
this
we helping
principle.
to retain?
What are we doing with these
Conclude
numbers?
about your upcoming history test.
I wonder why he
I'm gonna
didn't
repeat
embed
that.
the timers.
You know that studying for a test improves your chances of doing well. Based on this
That,
principle,
to
what
me,
can you
it's
conclude
like
about
you're
your
not
upcoming history
maximizing
test?
timing because
Go ahead and turn
you
to your
didn't embed
neighbors.
them. Like
I want you to
we,
discuss this answer. I'm
Yeah,
gonna give you all
because
minutes
he's
to
using
do
his
so.
phone instead.
I get that.
And see, he told them to copy, but yet they're talking. So which one is it?
Are we copying or are we talking?
And granted, they can talk first, that's fine. But here's the thing,
Same.
not everybody's talking. You see this?
That whole table is quiet.
And
They're
right here.
talking. They're not talking. We're talking.
Mhm.
So again, unclear what we're doing.
Correct. Oh, she's translating.
Okay. Okay.
I want to shout out Ilse and Norman for discussing with each other and figuring out the question. All right, y'all continue.
Okay, so there's the positive prayers again.
Okay, so
So
you're studying.
I still haven't identified who his
Studying for
ESC
tests
student
to
is.
improve your school.
Who's who?
Who his ESC student
What's
is.
going to happen on the next history test if you study?
Like what accommodations is that person getting?
Mm.
You are going to do better. Joshua.
Unless it's somebody on this table that he went over there and spoke to.
And then I would wonder,
What's going to happen?
would it really be beneficial for that aggressive monitor for him to stay at that podium?
Right.
Because he always has to go back to the podium. Which also means that if he's here, if he doesn't have his home, he has to go back.
Way back there.
Like,
Yes.
is it
All right.
worth him having in hand?
Y'all, what's this
I
an
would say
example of?
Just an example of
And also I noticed when he was conversing over there, everybody over here was distracted.
All right. What is this an example of? It's deductive reasoning. Okay? So, we are starting to run out of time for now. What I want us to do is we're going to take a look at an activity. We're going to pass that out now. Here we go. You're going to work in partners. Okay. Here we go. go ahead and put both your names on it. So, Alma and Eileen, y'all gonna work together. Latrell, Juliana, y'all gonna work together. Diego, Preside, y'all gonna work together. Y'all gonna work together. Y'all are gonna work together. Y'all are gonna work together. A famous painting was stolen from the school's art exhibit. You know the paintings they had up for Hispanic Heritage Month? I saw them walking them out the school.
Okay.
Where they at?
So is that a real world example?
Correct.
Maybe. But look, 3 students, Sarah, Jay, and Max, were seen near the exhibit during the theft. The detective finds a torn piece of paper with the clue about the thief's identity. She needs to determine the identity of the thief. Your directions are use inductive reasoning clues, specific observations, and deductive reasoning clues.
And maybe they
General
would do
rules or
better
facts
with a
to
handout.
draw a conclusion about who stole the painting.
Yeah, they don't
Right.
have this.
Mm-mm.
But see,
I'm gonna
you
set
don't
a
have to
timer
print
for
everything. This
5
could be.
minutes.
I
Alma,
noticed they're
Eileen,
not using their
Latrell, and
laptop.
Juliana.
Like this would be a great opportunity for the laptop to be used.
Ariel,
They could've put it
Natalie,
up on
y'all can
campus.
get started
They
by
could've
yourselves.
annotated
Everyone
it.
else, I'm gonna work with y'all.
Yeah.
You
okay?
know, they could have annotated it.
I'm gonna
and
set
they
a
could
timer
have quickly
for
referenced
5
it,
minutes.
you know.
Go ahead and get started on
I actually love that
this
idea.
packet for y'all. Let's go ahead and take a look.
I love that idea.
Alright, so real quick. What's the goal of dyslexia? Exactly. Okay. ¿Cómo vamos a entender esto? How are we gonna understand this? Yeah, we have the clues. Open up your packet.
So is this now this small group?
Okay. So, you
Sure,
understand the
this
clues?
is as good as mine because remember everything has to be over first.
Right.
So I don't know. Like, but remember we can't presume. I don't know. But you see how much is left for us to make our
Oh my
presumption.
God, you
And
really-
and here's the
Okay, go ahead and
thing.
read these clues. With your name.
If we're making the presumption on the best interest, which we believe, you know, based on what's happening, this would make sense.
Right.
And not everyone's gonna make that same judgment call. And that's what we try to explain people, like, don't leave everything to circumstance. Because when you leave it to circumstance, it could go either way. That's 50-50. You and I are believing it could be small group, and I
Right.
think so. But another person could think, oh well, the teacher's tired, maybe he's just sitting down.
Which is not good. Because if you're tired, you're just sitting down. That's a whole thing.
You know what I mean? Because someone will think like, okay, maybe they're just sitting down. Someone may think maybe they're disciplining a student. Someone may think maybe he just randomly chose the table to sit because coincidentally that's the only one with the chair.
Yeah, and then he got back up, so then it's like, well,
So was it a small group?
was it a small group or did he just...
You know what I mean? Because let's be honest, there was no remediation that happened.
No.
This kid's head is down. I mean, again, so it just leaves
And with
a lot
nothing
of,
on his desk.
so it just brings up that there's a lot left for interpretation, which again, going back to, don't put yourself in a position where people have to assume anything. Because when you're guessing, then let's be honest, all of this becomes null,
Right.
really. Because I mean, now I'm just going by, I think he
I
may
think he's
have,
doing that.
but I don't know. But remember, it's not what we think.
It's what we see. For sure.
I saw him sat down, he spoke to students. A minute later, he
He got up and
addressed
went to another group.
So technically, I can't say that.
A small group.
Technically, because. So, and here's the thing. We can do pair assignments, but then the question is, what is the other student doing?
Or
Because
both
the-
of them, because his head was down for like 5 minutes. And she was just
And then
doing
the
it.
question is, like, there's only one copy. Why is
Instead
there
of
only
two.
one copy? And here's the thing, going back to, we don't need to print everything, but let's be strategic on what do we print, right?
And
Because
ensure
they
if
have
we
a
didn't
laptop.
print it, what do they have a way of accessing it?
Right. But again, every student has a laptop device, why not hold them accountable for bringing that resource, which is an instructional tool for them, and they could be annotating this as we speak, right?
Right.
They could be manipulating it in a way where they're making sense. Okay, so clue one, Sarah was the only one wearing gloves near the exhibit. That could be an annotation. Okay, why would someone wear gloves? What happens when you wear gloves? Oh, no fingerprints. Why would someone want to avoid leaving their fingerprints behind?
So maybe
You know?
chunking this?
Correct. Like literally, I would have them like, okay, in what scenario would someone do that? Okay, clue number 2, Jay was seen running down the hallway shortly after the exhibit was closed.
Like, why was he there after it was closed?
Correct. And most importantly, why is he running? Is he running away from something? Did he do something, or maybe he wanted to avoid being caught or seen? Did he lose track of time? And if so, why? You know. Number 3, whoever has the key to the exhibit must be involved. Now it seems like it could have been an inside job of some sort, right? So this already tells me that, again, something happened, something bad happened, and a person or people of interest would be those that work there and know the system, blah, blah, blah. And then literally, but I would have modeled that. Okay, what does this make me think of? Let me think about movies I've seen. Let me think about
Back to real world example.
let me think about a news reporting I may have heard or read about. Like, let me put my CSI cap on, right? You know, and think, okay, what does this make me think of? Like, kind of set the tone. Okay, we're gonna be detectives, right? Because it says that. Let's be detectives. Let's take our magnifying glasses out. I need you to wonder the who, what, when, where, why, and how of everything. Like,
That also goes into higher order thinking.
Correct.
Like he would have gotten more points if he would have gone into the higher order thinking.
because remember, this is a thinking process, and you have to guide and show them how do you really think about this. Because for some it might be, I don't know, I've never been to a museum, I don't know what an exhibit is, but again, we've seen enough TV where we're like, okay, why do people wear gloves?
Right.
You know.
Why would you be running after an exhibit was closed? What would make you do that?
And
Why were you even there?
Correct. And I would even pose the question like, okay, if you're at a place and they're about to close/in, what do they start doing? Oh, they start telling people to exit.
Right.
Okay, so why would someone not exit?
They're
And I would
already
literally
done
ask
with
them, like, if you go to a
part
party,
one. They're ready to
party
get
is
to
about to end,
robbery.
and they tell you, hey,
I want
party's over.
everyone
If people don't leave, like, why would they not leave? Oh,
as
they
these
don't want
folks
to
are
because,
over here. Y'all
and I
can
would
do
start
it.
that
Let's continue.
conversation.
Okay.
So now for y'all need to make a guess. Who stole it? Who
But
robbed
see,
it?
that
It's
just
like
makes
the whole group and at the beginning.
But you see how this would have been, so see how he could have started off with that comment for this, hey, we're going to be detectives, we're going to solve a crime, right? He said, we're going to find out who did it, right? And that way they would have already had that established.
In their head of who did
And
it.
then we're
Okay.
gonna guess
But you
who
notice
robbed
he
it.
isolated that
Alright?
piece of
Keep
information
going,
for them.
keep going.
Unless they were
And they
listening,
didn't get it.
they didn't hear that.
That's why I'm also wondering, like, is he a student over there? Is he,
Maybe.
but it
I don't know.
wasn't, it's not clear. Because that could have been a question addressed to everybody. It wasn't really scaffolding.
Yes. Label. So it's clue one inductive.
Okay, well, he went back to, wait a minute. Okay, inductive and deductive reasoning. But I thought we were doing conversion and divergent thinking. Okay, he's doing both. But they're off to ask. Because what are they talking about? Yeah.
I don't know, they're smiling so I can.
Okay, she's back on topic. They're talking, but this table is just not talking at all. Maybe, alright, somebody
I'm
there.
wondering.
Whoever has the key to the exhibit
I actually am doing it in the tool
You're doing
itself.
something else. Okay. Ooh. Now, as far as transitions and routines, how could he have gotten that point? Other than having more organized MRSs, because for sure that could have been a thing.
Well,
All right, we got
I
about
would definitely
30
say that.
seconds
In
left.
addition to that, I would also say
Let's go ahead and come together.
there's not evidence to me that there's a clear system and process for going to the restroom because the student rose her hand to ask for permission.
Raise your
Again,
hand
going
if
back
you
to
need more time.
we need to maximize the time for kids. Like we don't need to spend time about yes or no
Yeah.
restroom. So there's not a system,
But y'all are good.
right?
To where they don't have to.
So I've seen
Okay.
different things where
So,
they can just sign up.
I'm gonna set
Hey, we
another
only do
timer.
five or six slots, whatever the number is.
5 minutes are
Once
up.
that's been filled, hey, you already know.
With who won,
There's no
who
room
ten.
options for you,
Alright, afterwards,
restroom
go make
options
a
for you.
guess.
Try it next time.
Okay?
But again, there's no,
How many
you know
more
what I mean?
minutes do we
Again, the
have
student had to
to
ask
complete
him.
this assignment,
He
Justin?
agreed. But again, that was like, what, 2 minutes that we could have saved doing something
How
else.
many more minutes
Right.
do we have to complete?
That's that's an easy way to get it. Okay.
So that would have been
Yeah,
that would
we're
have
gonna
been
take 5 more minutes, label the clues, and then we're gonna move on. All right, for y'all, I'm gonna start working with y'all and checking if we're right or wrong. Let's go ahead and get started. Got 5 more minutes. Let's challenge y'all. Let's finish this up.
And see,
Okay, first of all,
that's
just
why
turn the papers over
it
for
would
the
be
first
so
time. I
great if
wanna
the
see if
students
I
would
agree
use
with
their
y'all.
laptops because, right, today, first day back from testing, his room was used. So we don't have our ACEs and our annotation cards taped, right, because of testing, and that makes sense. However, he could have said, reference your
Can I ask you a
digital
higher
version
order
from
thinking
campus,
question?
like they would have been there.
Is
That would
this
have been a reminder.
divergent or is this convergent banking, this entire assignment?
So he said, "Can I ask you guys a higher order thinking question?"
Alright, so y'all got the clues
So do
correct.
we now give
I
him
agree
higher
with
order
y'all.
thinking
Mhm,
question?
yeah, 'cause he
So
said it,
now,
yeah.
I wanna see.
And then he said,
He used
y'all
no
need to do
reference.
part 2 and 3. Y'all are, let me see what y'all got. The trail, if I have to shout out Latrell 2,000 times, I will. Shout out to Latrell for already being done with this assignment. It shows considerable effort. Thank you, man. Let's take a look.
But you know what I would have wished? I would have wished everyone would have had that
I'm about
opportunity.
to sit down.
To
and
answer the
navigate
question,
these.
yeah, because again, everything he's asking is directed towards that table.
I like that you put in answer 3, you broke down deductive thinking to what it actually is. And that's what I want to see. Juliana, where did you contribute to this? So like, where did you practice? Yeah. Okay, I got that. Okay, so now, this is the tough part. So we gotta do part 2, alright? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna practice divergent thinking and deductive thinking. Yeah, we'll combine it. Did y'all talk about this last year? Okay, alright. So, the first scenario, I want you to help Tasha come up with 3 ideas. Yeah, you'll see it, but you're gonna help Tasha out, alright? If we're coming up with ideas, we're using divergent or convergent. Divergent. There you go. Y'all go and get started. Is this y'all's? Or that's mine? Alright, shout out to Justin. Okay, shout out to both of y'all. Now, we're getting done.
So I love that he's praising students that are completing their work early. Yet we have 30 minutes left of class. I have yet to hear what are those students working on now.
Afterwards.
Because I don't want them to be a distraction. Just like I don't want them to feel discouraged from being quick finishers, right? So
Right.
then the question is, what do they do?
Right. Like, are they're finished now? Are they helping other people? What are they doing?
Okay, let's take a look. So, you're right. For the first two clues, you're right. You gotta keep going though. Go ahead and take a look at clue 3. Alright, so notice clue 1 and clue 2. What do we have in these clues? Yeah, but does it name specific folks? Okay, so in that case, it's naming a specific person. Take a look at the definition before we die. Remember, for deductive reasoning, we're going from general principles to a specific conclusion. When we're talking about deductive reasoning, we're going from making a generalization to a specific instance. Okay? So take a look. Sarah and Jay, are these the entire group or these specific people? They're specific people. That's why it's what? I don't see it here. Inductive. Say it with me. Inductive. Clue 3.
So he's going to this table, and now this table, but this table over here, they don't talk, but it still has a line to bring the select table.
Or is
Okay.
this a general going to a specific? You got it. So what's it gonna be? You got it, Poseidon. Diego, you're really intelligent. Think about this for a couple seconds. Okay, so. Okay.
Are you good? Go out there and
Oh, yeah,
collaborate.
yeah, I was actually trying to
Calibrate. Okay, now we can calibrate.
Yes. Okay, so we can start from the top. So for planning, so I did see in annotated LO, it was aligned to the activities that were observed.
I also saw that. I did also notice that all of the materials were not aligned. So while there was an LO that was clear, the LO did not align with the materials. So I didn't give him points here. But he did engage in higher order thinking, even though it was towards the end.
Yeah, same as well. Again, going back to the higher order thinking, I wish it would have been a whole group opportunity where all students would have been able to stretch their thinking about the topic. So my score was a 1.
Okay, me too.
Okay, so for engage and deliver, I mean, students were behaving appropriately. I did a really great job with sharing some real-world examples that are relatable to students because it's something that they've seen on campus. He did create opportunities for for certain group of students to maximize their understanding. There was also evidence of attempts to implement MRSs. Students did participate. So I didn't see students speak, read, write, and think throughout the lesson
Same.
at all times. Okay, so that's something I didn't see.
Okay.
So there were some sentence stems to try to support students thinking and responses to questions. There were some fill in the blanks. So I did see that.
Okay.
I didn't see gestures. So for special pops, I did see supports with translation for our EB students. But those were the only things that I saw. So
I agree with you. I mean, I do believe that it was on grade level instruction. There was multiple MRS strategies, like you said, multiple opportunities for students to practice. I noticed there was a real world example, but you're right. There wasn't much reading, writing, listening throughout the entire lesson. I didn't see them write at all, actually. And then he did use sentence stems, and the other support I would have said he used was he translated, but I would have given him 3 maybe for that.
Yeah.
You too?
So we're using. Yeah, I put a 2. I gave him a 2 just because I would have wanted to see more of that for it to be equitable.
Okay.
So that would be the big thing for me. Like, yes, a certain group, and that would be one of my questions to him. Why would only certain groups receive these supports or opportunities rather than everyone? And that would be my wondering. And granted, there could be more to that response, which I don't know, right? But that would be because, in fairness, every student should have that opportunity. So if I need, here's the thing, I don't know what you need unless you communicate it. So because of that, I would want to ensure that everyone has that option if need be, right? For monitoring just, he did. There was an attempt, again, going back to with certain groups, it was observed, an attempt to reinforce ideas, to break it down. He did talk about, there's a theft. We're going to discover who the thief is. He talked about it being an inside job. So again, going back to helping them make those connections and have a deeper understanding of, this is what we're doing. I think that would have been better or more appropriate having it being done in the beginning of the activity where we're setting the tone for everybody, where everyone knows, did you detect it, that question everything, like be skeptical beginning to end because it's a murder mystery, it's a thief, a robbery mystery, again, whatever it is, just to kind of give some context, and then the differentiation. So it was very evident for me for the EB student, but I don't know for our learning disabled students as to what was in place for them that was different to ensure that they too not only grasped but were able to apply the learning. So I'm a little unsure about that.
So based off of what you said and also based off of what I saw, a 2?
Yeah, I did a 2 just because, it's for me, it's between a 2 and a 3, but the word mostly is what really stands out, and for mostly would be the vast majority of students, but it was sprinkles here and there, so that's kind of where that, so that would be like if he was my teacher, bless him, if he was my teacher, that would be a part of my conversation with him, like how can we ensure that everybody is in the know, so if they need this support / information, they have it versus just specific groups, because now they have an advantage over other groups, right?
I agree with that.
And granted, especially like if you have an EB or a learning disabled disabled student, why would we deny them the opportunity to use their laptop device, to be able to do a Google search, to
true.
be able to, again, because remember, it is an instructional tool. This replaces textbooks for them. This replaces a note block for them. I'm not saying that, penmanship isn't important, but just saying that, again, they have, let's empower
They
them
have
to.
technology. Let's use it.
Correct. So that would have been a good, okay, students, I've noticed that some students are needing support to understand more about what divergence think it means. Okay, let's open up our laptops. Let's do a Google search for the word and look for an example. Try to talk to your partner. Share an example that you learned.
Opportunity.
You know what I mean? Something like that. Okay. So, so for me, I put a 2.
I did too. I gave it a 2.
Okay.
I do think, though, for reinforcing and redirecting, he did a really good job. When the student came in late, she went to the red zone, he redirected her. He was constantly giving praise, and when he gave the positive praise, he was specific. So I gave him the point for that.
I agree, and students didn't hesitate. Like, students welcomed, they understood. Teacher said, do this, let me do it. There was no if, buts, whens, or anything. So again, it just speaks of the rapport he has with kids.
Perfect.
Agreed. I also selected 1.
And then for the learning environment, the classroom is inviting, safe, and respectful to support student learning and positive interactions.
Absolutely, I saw that too. Yes.
But transitions and routines, it was almost like there were no transitions and routines. Even when he was doing MRS strategies, it was not clear.
Structured. Yeah, I thought the same thing because, like, okay, so like when he did the turn on top, again, going back to what we talked about, what we remember, like, it was in signal. Okay, we're setting the timer. Okay, students, write on your whiteboards, and then even just say, okay, students, on 3, show
1,
me your
2, 3,
whiteboards.
go.
Show
3,
me,
2, 1.
show me. Because remember, some turned their whiteboards, whereas others were still waiting. And I think it's just a little communication that could be bridged, right? So yeah, I said the same thing. I mean, but overall, I mean, it's a clean space, it's organized, aesthetically, it's appealing.
Right.
So I awarded him a 1.
8.
Yeah, I did 7 on here. Ended up being 7.
Good. Okay. Yay. And this is the end of our observation and calibration.